Australia who had a really great idea. And so far I've only used it on 45 caliber bullets, but now I've started casting some 38s, and I discovered that they don't really fit just right, so I'm going to have to make some modifications. And in a minute I'll take you over to the sizer over in the corner over there and show you what there is to it. I don't know if anybody else has had any strange occurrences with YouTube, but the other day I clicked on one of the Oxtoolco videos, and I watched about 15 seconds of it, and kaboom! There I was in the middle of somebody else's video. Yeah, there was a couple of guys, Russians or Eastern Europeans or something, and they had a sawmill that was a reciprocating sawmill. It had a whole bunch of blades that worked up and down like that, and they shoved this big old log in it, and it just went up and down like that and sliced it all into a bunch of boards. I never saw anything like that before, and it was interesting, but it wasn't what I had had tried to watch. And then in a couple of days, I had that same thing happen with somebody else's video. I'm clicked on it, I'm watching it, and boom, Yahoo dumps me off into some other video someplace. And I would guess that happened to me 2 or 3 times. I don't know if that's happened to anybody else or not, but it was sort of frustrating, although I did see some interesting things here and there. Okay, so now we'll go over there and take a look at the bullet sizer. I don't want to talk too long because this could be a long video as is. Okay, now that I've started making a pile of 38 specials. Of course, I'm going to do about 3 times that much before I finish, so I don't have to come back and do more later. But there's a big difference between what I was using before and what I've got now. As you can see, 45, 38. Big old nose on the 45, little skinny nose on the 38. So I drop the bullets down this little guy right here. They go down that tube. I don't think we can see in there. They go down that tube, and they go down into here, and we need a little more light yet. And at the bottom of that slot, you can see there's a slot in the bottom there. And the bad thing about that little slot down in the bottom is that the nose of this little skinny bullet there gets stuck. He gets stuck right in that slot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little shuttle piece off of here, rotate it around 180 degrees, make a smaller hole just a little bit offset, because I think it can come down there and still drop right into the hole, so that the nose of the bullet can't get stuck in that little slot that you can see down through there. You can pretty much see it. You can see it's the red that you can see through there. And while I'm at it, this little piece right here needs some improvement. I'm going to cut off about this much of that shoulder, because it's needs to go down just a little bit closer to this little shuttle here that slides the bullets back and forth, and it'll drop them out better. And I need to make one just like this with a much smaller hole to do the 38 special. So today's job is modify this, slice this nut down the middle because I don't need such a big wide nut, and make one just like this for 38 special, and modify this little booger so that I have a hole on this end, turn it around for when I do 38s. That ought to be about all anybody should do in a day if I get through with it today. For such a small lathe, this thing certainly has a lot of place to be lubricated, and one of those is down in here. You have to pull that screw out and drop oil in there, and every time I do that, I get to see that the belts are starting to get frayed here. Eventually I'll have to take that and replace it with those linked together belts, because I don't really want to pull that spindle out, disturb the bearings. I might not be that good at adjusting them. So first thing we're going to do is make us a piece of aluminum, just like the one we had inside. The sound will probably go bad from here, but I'm going to have to duplicate this guy. It's got a thread here, 5/8, 11, which is national course. And I'm going to duplicate it on this piece of metal here. And even though I've got this quick change toolbar here, I'm going to take it off and put the lantern type that came with the lathe back on. The only, whoa, dang, what an idiot. The only thing I need out of here is this little piece here. I don't know why I didn't take that tool off of there, but at least it didn't hit anything important. Alright, we'll set this down to one side. And we'll take this little lantern guy, wherever he is. Here he is. And we're going to screw the end back on it. It's always fun changing this out, but I don't have a threading tool that fits the other fella, so yeah, I guess it'd help if I turn this the right way. But anyway, I don't have a threading tool for the other tool holder, so I have to go with this guy here. I do it so seldom switching back and forth, I guess, that I forget how to put it on there. But all right, there we go. We're in the middle there. Drop him on, put this little piece in. Grab the threading tool. And we'll be ready to roll here in a minute, but first, of course, I've got to mark the length, and I want it to be at least as long as this one. And I had, here we go. I thought I had this thing handy. I want it to be just a tiny bit longer. The other one I made a bit too short. I've heard people talk about how accurate their rejaw cuffs are, but this guy's not all that accurate. You can see them run out there. I'm sure it's probably off a few thousandths. And we'll just use this threading tool to make a mark as to where I want to stop, and then I'll get a different tool to bring it down to the right side. Alright, changing belts is what makes you envious those guys that can just reach over and dial in the speed. Things I want to do is put the gearbox back in the slowest feed position while I'm thinking about it. We've already got everything else set up through threading. The gears to mesh there. Alright, now then. That'll probably be good enough to start a hole. Find a 3/8 drill bit. Figure 3/8 is just about right for this job. All right. Don't run dry on me right at the end of the job. All right. Alright, the camera died sometime into the job there, but I've turned it around now that it's threaded, and I've got to bore this end of it to fit the little plastic tube. I don't know, I doubt the sound is all that good from here, but the tube's got to go up into the end of it like it did on the old one. One for the other tube's got to go in there. So don't have a drill bit exactly the size of this tube, so we'll just bore a hole. I think that looks really good, so this one should be finished. And I lost my chuck key. So there we are. This guy fits the little plastic tube, nice and tight, which is what I wanted. And I think that'll do the job. This piece is already done. Now all we need to do is get to work on a lot of the other stuff. Oops. Now I've got to dig around in here and try to find a 5/8 bolt so that I can make that nut fit on it. So I can cut the nut in half So I'll do that off camera.